Does this look familiar? Maybe you've got a couple of 100 hours into Dead by Daylight. Or maybe you're even a veteran that just needs some tips on how to make your chases last longer. Today, we're looking at a few different tips on how you can extend your chases just a little bit, and hopefully help you to survive the trial. We've got some tips for survivors at all levels of experience, and make sure to stick around till the end of the video for a brand new channel announcement. And if you do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what other videos you'd like to see down in the comments. And if you want to see these tips live in action, go and drop me a follow on Twitch. Tip number 1, look behind you. This is the number 1 tips that survivors have been giving each other for years now. It is tried and tested and still the best piece of advice to this day. Obviously, this gets a bit more easier the more experience you have in the game and the more familiar that you get with each map. But once you do get a little bit more comfortable, it is best to be looking back at your killer. This way, you can keep track of how much distance you have between you and them, and if the killer decides to change direction and try and catch you from the other side of a loop. This is especially beneficial on killers that don't have a red stain. Know your killers. Funnily enough, playing as a killer can actually help you as survivor. You don't have to master them, but it's best just to familiarize yourself with their powers, which can help you to make better and more informed decisions while you're in chase with them. For example, knowing that the Wraith can't hit you while cloaked might stop you from throwing that pallet while in chase with him next time, which would be wasting a pallet as you're not actually directly at risk. Similarly, knowing that most hillbilly players will struggle to hit you around a really tight loop can force some of them to do a regular lunge attack on you, which would only take away 1 health state rather than 2. There are, of course, limitations for every killer, so if you'd like to see a video summarizing each killer's weakness, let me know in the comments section and I can look at doing that for you. Hug the walls. A big error often made by newer players is that they tend to run out into the open or not be taking a loop as tightly as they could do. Every killer is actually just a little bit faster than the survivors, so in these circumstances, they'll actually find it easier to catch up to you. Try your hardest to turn into the walls while you're looping. Not only will you be taking the loop as efficiently as possible, but it'll also help you when turning sharper corners. Use pallets sparingly. There are only a set amount of pallets in each game, so once they're gone, they're gone. Also, don't stand inside a pallet just waiting to throw it on the killer. This is referred to as pallet camping and is known for wasting your resources and actually hindering your team. For example, you might make a chase at the start of the game last for about 5 minutes by throwing every pallet that you come to, but then that puts the killer in a really decent situation. They can create a snowballing effect, as later on in the game, he could start a new chase with you or one of your teammates, and all of a sudden you have no strong loops left to work with. Know your loops. There are several common types of loops that can spawn in every map, and some of which can even recur in other realms and maps as well. Knowing how to run these loops as efficiently as possible will benefit you. For example, if you know to run a loop in a certain way that can guarantee you a fast vault rather than a medium vault on a window, this can be the difference between you getting hit by the killer or not. If you want to know some common loops that can spawn in each map and how to run them effectively, I actually have a video on that right here. Why don't you go and check it out? Anyway, that was 5 tips on how to improve your chases in Dead by Daylight. Now, as for that channel announcement that I mentioned at the start of the video, I have now launched memberships for this channel. By clicking the join button either on my channel or beneath this video, you can get your very own channel membership. That will give you access to a unique alien emoji pack that you can use here on YouTube, as well as a subscriber badge, as well as being able to vote on member-only polls where you can choose which video I put out next. Just like this one. Yes, this video was voted on by our first couple of channel members. The more channel members that we get, the more access to perks that we have, so you'll be able to get even more emojis, and it also directly supports me as a creator, so even if you're just considering it, I greatly appreciate it. I've also kept them as cheap as possible, so you're welcome. Anyway, that's all I have for this video, and I shall see you in the next one.